Thanks, Mr. Chair. I thought Senator Gazelka's argument was extremely unique, that somehow enacting more barriers and more hindrances to access the polls is somehow going to improve voter participation, improve access. I think the evidence, I mean, on its face, we know that we're creating barriers and hindrances that we don't currently have in place in Minnesota. We've seen the effect in other states. We know by a simple rational test that we have folks who simply don't have the kind of transportation that they're going to need in greater Minnesota to get to, you know, these places that, and it makes me wonder what the pressure is going to be on the, frankly, on the transit system as we're making cuts to transit. Folks are going to have to use transit to get to these places, that somehow this is going to be an improvement people's ability to participate. This is clearly setting up barriers for people's ability to participate in Minnesota with no evidence of any need for it. We have no cases of voter impersonation in Minnesota.
Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And that's part of the reason I pointed to Indiana, to show that I think the more we talk about voting, the more you're going to get people aware of it and actually voting. And that's why it increased there. But the other thing is, I think we underestimate the ability of someone in Minnesota to actually go out and get an ID. I think we're selling the people of Minnesota short. I mean, it's personal responsibility. It's the ability to say, I want my vote to be counted. I think the average Minnesotan's ingenuity will find a way to get their valid ID.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Dibble.
That, again, is living in a world of wishful thinking. There are people who have significant and real barriers, and to fail to acknowledge that is simply to simply ignore the circumstances of people's lives. Not about giving them credit, it's about addressing the reality. And the fact is we have fantastic voter participation in Minnesota, and part of it is because we've had this tradition of openness and trust and accountability, and we have the validation and verification. The investigation that was done by the county attorneys in light of the last recounts, that we have an extremely sound system. Why would we even be bringing this forward in light of the evidence that we have now in our hands with this intense level of scrutiny that we've had in our election system?